The group chat that killed us. I didn't think anything of it when my phone buzzed at 11:17 p.m. on a Sunday night. I'd been dozing on my narrow dorm bed, half watching a documentary on my laptop, trying to push away the rising tide of dread that always came before midterms. The notification banner popped up at the top of my screen, and I glanced at it without really seeing. At first, I assumed it was just another meme dump from my friends, or maybe a random campus alert, but the name of the chat caught my eye. I frowned, pulling the phone closer. I didn't remember joining any new groups. I didn't recognize the number that had added me. I thumbed open the app and blinked at the screen. There were 10 of us in the group. I didn't recognize any of the numbers or contact names. Only one message had been posted so far, from an unknown contact whose profile picture was just a blank grey silhouette. The message was short, stark. 10 souls gathered. The first will fall at midnight. I frowned, glancing back at the top of the chat. Maybe it was some prank, or maybe a friend added me to something dumb to mess with me. I was about to exit the app when another message popped up from someone named Jason. Jason. Lol, what is this? Who added me? Then, almost immediately, Ella. Same here. What is this supposed to be? A second later, the unknown number replied. Unknown. The clock is ticking. I stared at my screen. Something about the timing felt off. The replies from the unknown number came so fast it was like it was reading minds, waiting for someone to answer so it could pounce. I started typing, then hesitated, thumb hovering over the keyboard. I didn't know why, but my chest felt tight. A new message popped up. Ava, this isn't funny. Remove me. Unknown, you cannot leave. The first will fall at midnight. Jason replied again. Jason? Okay, creepy. Seriously, who is this? If this is a joke, I'm blocking you. I rubbed my eyes. Maybe someone hacked our numbers. Or maybe some bored student in one of the coding clubs was testing out a bot for fun. But why pick random students? Why pick me? I went back to my documentary, but I couldn't focus. I kept glancing at my phone every couple of seconds, half expecting the screen to light up with more cryptic nonsense. My pulse thudded in my throat, irrational and jittery. At 11:50, the unknown number posted. 10 minutes. A minute later, Jason replied. Jason, okay, seriously, I'm blocking this number. Then Ella. Ella, this is freaking me out. I didn't type anything. My hands felt cold and clammy. I kept telling myself it was stupid to be scared, that I should just mute the thread and forget about it. But the words sat in the chat like an open wound. Something in me knew it wasn't a joke. At 11:59, the unknown number posted again. Midnight claims Jason. I jolted. Jason was the first person to reply to the thread, the first one to demand answers. Was that why they picked him? Was this some kind of viral scare game? I didn't have time to think it through. A second later, Jason posted again. Jason, what? What the hell is this supposed to mean? Tyler, dude, are you okay? Ava, this is too much. Stop it. Jason, something just broke in my house. A pause. Then, Jason, I think someone is in here. Ella, call the police. The next message came so fast my stomach lurched. Jason, I'm hiding in the bathroom. Something is in the living room. Oh my God. I could barely breathe. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. I started to type, telling Jason to stay put, to stay quiet, but before I could send it, the chat exploded. Tyler, Jason, answer us. Ella, Jason, please. Silence. A minute ticked by, then Ella again. Ella, he's not answering. I'm calling 911 right now. I sat frozen, staring at the chat. I heard the clock on my wall tick over to midnight. The unknown number posted. 9 souls remain. Ella sent another message, the words barely coherent. Ella, police got there. Jason's dead. There was glass everywhere. They don't know what happened. Oh my God. I dropped my phone. It clattered on the bedspread. I pressed my fists against my mouth to keep from screaming. My chest hurt, like someone had driven a knife straight through my ribs. Another message from the unknown number. The second will fall tomorrow at midnight. Ava, no, 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 stop this. She tried to leave the chat. I saw the little notification that said Ava left the group pop up. Then, a second later, it vanished. Ava was still there, her number blinking in the thread, like she'd never left. Ava, it won't let me leave. I tried again. Oh God, oh God. Unknown, 9 souls remain. Ava, Tyler, Ella, Luke, Hannah, Sarah, Will, Jordan, and you. I flinched. My name was at the end of the list, my number visible like a fresh wound in the chat. But I hadn't told them my name. I hadn't said a word in the group. I turned my phone off and buried it under my pillow. I crawled under the covers, shaking so hard my teeth chattered. But sleep wouldn't come. Every creak in the old dorm building made me jerk upright, gasping. I thought about Jason, about the shards of glass and the empty silence of his apartment, about the words on my screen, so cold and final. 9 souls remain. The next day was worse. The sun was bright and mocking through my dorm window. I dragged myself to class, every noise sharp and jagged in my ears. I kept checking my phone, terrified I'd see another message. But the chat was quiet. It was like waiting for an executioner's axe to fall. Between classes, Ella sent a flurry of panicked messages to the group. Ella, I talked to the cops. They don't know anything. They think Jason fell or someone broke in, but there was no sign of forced entry. Tyler, there has to be an explanation. Maybe he had a seizure or something. Ella, his apartment was trashed. I saw it. This isn't normal. Ava, we're cursed. No one replied to that, but I could feel the truth of it like a tumor growing in my gut. I skipped my afternoon lecture. Instead, I holed up in the library, phone clutched in my sweaty hands, refreshing the chat every few seconds. At 11:50 that night, the unknown number posted again. 10 minutes. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I texted Ava directly, telling her to get out, to hide, to call the cops, anything. She didn't reply. At 11:59, midnight claims Ava. She started typing, her frantic messages flooding the chat. Ava, no, stop. Stop this, please. Ava, something is moving in my apartment. Ava, I can hear it whispering. Ava, I'm in the bathroom. Oh God, it's outside the door. Silence. Ella, Ava. Tyler, Ava, answer us. Nothing. The unknown number posted. 8 souls remain. I felt something inside me shatter. Ava was gone. Just like Jason. The next day, we were all wrecked. I didn't know these people, I'd never met them face to face. But now, they were all I had. We were bound together by this nightmare, this thing that was hunting us one by one. Ella posted again, voice frantic. Ella, we can't just wait to die. We need to do something. Tyler, what? What can we do? It won't let us leave the chat. The cops don't believe us. Ella, meet me tonight at the library. 8 p.m. We have to talk in person. I hesitated, staring at the screen. My gut screamed that it was a trap, that gathering together would just make us easier prey. But the thought of spending another night alone was worse. Me, okay, I'll come. I didn't know what waited for us, but I knew one thing. If we didn't fight, we'd die. Just like Jason, just like Ava. I couldn't let that happen. I wouldn't. I shoved my phone in my pocket, my hands shaking so badly I nearly dropped it. As I walked to class, I caught a reflection in a glass door, my own pale face, wide eyes staring back at me. And for a split second, I swore I saw something standing behind me in the glass. Something tall and dark, with too many hands. I blinked and it was gone. But I knew then, deep in my bones, whatever was coming for us, it was already here. The library was nearly empty when I arrived. It was a Wednesday night, just after 8, but the quiet felt heavier than usual. thick with the kind of dread you only notice when you're alone in a big, echoing building. Ella was already there, sitting in the corner near the old stacks, picking at her cuticles until they bled. Tyler and Hannah showed up a few minutes later, both pale and jumpy. We didn't hug or smile or even say much of anything. There was no point. We gathered around a rickety wooden table tucked in the far corner, where the fluorescent lights overhead flickered every so often. I kept glancing at the shadows between the shelves, expecting to see something moving. Ella broke the silence first. "I talked to a professor today," she whispered. "He teaches folklore. I didn't tell him everything, just asked if he knew stories about haunted group chats, curses, things like that." "And?" Tyler asked. "He thought it was some kind of urban legend," Ella said, voice shaking. "Something about mirrors and reflections, how some old stories talk about spirits moving through glass, or..." Tyler slammed his fist on the table, making us all jump. "That's not helping us." "Stop," I said quietly. "Just stop. We're all terrified. Yelling isn't going to fix it." Tyler rubbed his eyes. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. "I'm sorry, I don't want to die." "None of us do," Hannah whispered. "But whatever this is, it's following the list. It doesn't matter if we believe in it. Jason and Ava are dead. They knew they were next, and nothing changed it." "But maybe," Ella said, voice brittle, "if we stick together, it can't pick us off." Tyler frowned. "It killed Ava alone in her apartment. Maybe it wants us to be alone. If we stay together, maybe it can't touch us." I wanted to believe that. God, I wanted to believe that. "Where's Luke?" I asked. Ella glanced at her phone. "He said he's coming. He's just..." Her voice trailed off. We waited. Every second felt like an hour. At 8:43 p.m., Luke posted in the chat. "Luke, I'm almost there. I just heard something outside my dorm. Gonna check it out first." My stomach dropped. I started typing, frantic. "Me, don't. Stay where you are. Come straight here." He didn't answer. Ella called him, but it rang and rang and rang. At 9:02 p.m., the unknown number posted. "Luke will not be joining you." Tyler cursed under his breath, punching the table hard enough to leave a crack in the varnish. "Ella, Luke answer us." Silence. Then, at 9:10, the unknown number posted again. "Tomorrow midnight claims Hannah." Hannah made a choking noise, backing away from the table so fast she knocked over a chair. "No," she gasped. "No, it can't be me next. I don't want to die. I don't." Ella grabbed her hands, trying to calm her, but Hannah wrenched away. "I have to go," she said. "I have to get away from you. From this, I can't." She ran out into the stacks. I jumped up to follow her, but she was gone by the time I reached the end of the row, her footsteps fading into the distance. I called her name. No answer. We spent the next few hours searching the library, checking every floor, every bathroom, every stairwell, but Hannah was gone. At 11:50 p.m., the unknown number posted. 10 minutes. Ella started crying, her whole body shaking. I held her close, whispering that it would be okay, that we'd get through this, but my own voice sounded hollow in my ears. At 11:59, the message came. "Midnight claims Hannah." Tyler started calling her phone over and over. No answer. At 12:01 a.m., the unknown number posted. 5 souls remain. I felt sick. I thought I might throw up. Ella slumped against me, sobbing so hard she could barely breathe. "Who's next?" Tyler whispered. No one answered. The next morning, I couldn't stop thinking about what Ella had said the night before about reflections, mirrors, spirits moving through glass. I started digging through old campus legends, anything I could find about cursed group chats, haunted screens. Most of it was garbage, urban myths about chain emails and old forum threads that supposedly made people disappear. But one detail kept cropping up in the older stories. People describing seeing something in their screens before they died. A shape, a face, a pair of hands pressing against the glass from the other side. I didn't know if I believed it, but the idea dug into my brain like a splinter. Around noon, the unknown number posted again. "Tomorrow midnight," claims Tyler. He cursed out loud, hurling his phone across the library. "No," he growled. "I'm not going to just wait to die. I'm not. Ella grabbed his arm. "We'll figure something out. We have to." But I could already see it in Tyler's eyes. The dread. The hopelessness. I checked the chat again. Hannah's number was gone, just like Jason and Ava. Whatever this was, it was methodical, unstoppable. I was next after Tyler, and I didn't know how to fight it. That night, we huddled together again in the library. Tyler refused to sit still, pacing the aisles, glancing nervously at every reflection in every dark computer monitor. Ella dozed off for a few minutes, head on my shoulder. My eyelids were burning, but I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed them, I saw that list in the chat, names crossed out one by one. At 11:50 p.m., the unknown number posted, 10 minutes. Tyler grabbed the nearest chair, brandishing it like a weapon. "Come on then," he screamed into the dark. "Come get me!" At 11:59, midnight, claims Tyler. Tyler charged toward the back stacks, chair raised. We heard a loud crash, a shattering noise. Then silence. A minute later, the unknown number posted, "Fossils remain." I didn't sleep that night. I didn't speak. Ella sat beside me, eyes wide and blank, whispering over and over, "It's going to be us. It's going to be us." I wanted to comfort her, but I didn't have any words left. And somewhere deep down, I felt something watching me through the screen of my phone, breathing against the glass, waiting. I knew tomorrow it would name me. I didn't know how to stop it. I didn't bother going back to my dorm. I couldn't stand the thought of being alone in that narrow, stifling room with nothing but the hum of the radiator and the faint glow of my phone screen. Instead, Ella and I stayed in the library all night, huddled together in the same corner table we'd claimed like refugees clinging to the last patch of dry land. Neither of us slept. The overhead lights flickered now and then, and every time they did, I half expected to see something moving between the stacks, a shape that didn't belong, a figure with too many limbs pressed against the glass doors. When the morning came, we staggered out into the brittle sunlight, blinking like moles. The campus felt wrong, too bright and oblivious. Students laughing and rushing to class, their backpacks bouncing as they passed. They didn't know there was something hunting us, picking us off one by one like bugs pinned to a board. At noon, just as I'd been dreading, the unknown number posted, "Tomorrow midnight, claims you." My throat closed. I didn't even realize I'd dropped my phone until Ella picked it up and pressed it into my shaking hands. "It's you," she whispered. "We'll find a way to stop it. We have to." But the words felt empty. We'd said the same thing about Jason, Ava, Hannah, Tyler, and every one of them was gone now. Still, I tried to hold on to the lie. It was the only thing keeping me from screaming. We spent the day scouring old forums, scrounging through urban legend blogs, hunting for anything in me that might tell us what this thing was, how it worked, how to break the cycle. The more we read, the more hopeless it felt. Everything ended the same way. Cryptic posts, dead threads, stories cut off mid-sentence. No one had beaten it. As the sun started to set, Ella slammed her laptop shut so hard the screen cracked. "I can't do this anymore," she said, breathing hard, eyes glassy. "We're just waiting to die. I can't." I swallowed. "I don't know what else to do." "There has to be something," she said, voice rising. "A reason why it picked us. A reason it's doing this. There has to be." "Ella, maybe we're missing something," she snapped. "Maybe it's not random. Maybe someone started this. Someone set it in motion." That stopped me cold. I thought back to the first night, to the moment I got added to the chat. None of us had known each other. None of us had started it. Had we? "I don't know," I said softly. "But we're running out of time." At 8 p.m., we went back to the library, too afraid to be anywhere else. Ella wouldn't stop pacing, gnawing her thumbnail until the skin split and bled. I just sat there, staring at my phone, waiting for the first notification. The minutes crawled by. I could feel something coiling in my stomach, tighter and tighter, like a clock spring winding itself to the breaking point. At 11:50 p.m., the unknown number posted, 10 minutes. Ella let out a broken sob. "No," she whispered. "No, please." I grabbed her hand. "It's going to come either way. Stay with me, please." She nodded, tears streaking down her cheeks. At 11:59, the final message came. "Midnight claims you." The lights went out. The air in the library seemed to freeze, every breath turning to mist. The silence was absolute, thick as concrete. I heard something scuttle in the dark, like fingernails scraping across glass. Ella screamed, clutching my arm. I felt something brush the back of my neck cold and slick, like the surface of a phone screen slick with condensation. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I fumbled it out, my hands numb and clumsy. The screen glowed to life, and I saw myself in the camera feed pale, wide-eyed, with Ella clinging to me. But there was something else behind us. A tall shadow with no face, its surface rippling like liquid glass, its hands pressed against an invisible barrier. The unknown number posted, "Look." I wanted to look away. God, I wanted to throw the phone across the room, but I couldn't move. On the screen, the shadow leaned closer, its blank face blooming with hundreds of tiny fractures, spiderwebbing outward like a breaking mirror. The buzzing grew louder, vibrating up through my bones, rattling my teeth. Then everything went black. I don't know how long I was out. When I came to, the library lights were back on. Ella was gone. My phone buzzed again, and the chat popped open by itself. 3 souls remain. I scrolled frantically, looking for messages from Ella, but there was nothing. Just silence, punctuated by that final chilling sentence. 3 of us left, me, Sarah, and Jordan. I was supposed to be dead, but I wasn't, and Ella had vanished instead. I didn't know what it meant, but for the first time since this nightmare started, I felt something shift inside me, a crack in the pattern, a chance. I wasn't dead, and maybe, just maybe, I could fight back. I didn't sleep, I couldn't. I spent the rest of the night in the library, every muscle tensed for another attack, clutching my phone until my knuckles turned white, but nothing else happened. Just that same message sitting at the top of the chat. 3 souls remain. Around dawn, I stumbled out into the cold grey light and called Sarah. My voice was raw and shaking, but she picked up on the first ring. "Where are you?" I whispered. "My dorm," she said. I saw the message about you. I thought you were dead." "I'm not, but Ella's gone." There was a long silence. I heard her breathing ragged, like she'd been crying. "I don't want to die," she whispered. "Neither do I said. "We have to meet. All of us. Now." I found Jordan already waiting in the quad when I got there, pacing, eyes darting around like a trapped animal. Sarah arrived a few minutes later, clutching her phone like it was a bomb about to explode. "Ella's really gone?" Jordan asked. I nodded. But I was supposed to be next. Something changed. I think, maybe we can break this. "How?" Sarah asked, voice hollow. "We don't even know what it is." I took a deep breath. What if it's not just a curse? What if it's feeding on us, on our fear, on us watching it happen? Every time one of us dies, the rest of us are there, staring at the messages, watching them get taken. Sarah swallowed. "So, what? We just don't look?" Jordan let out a bitter laugh. "Yeah, right. That'll work. It forces us to look. It wants us scared. But maybe that's the key," I said. "We break the pattern by refusing to watch, by refusing to feed it." They both stared at me. "You want us to turn off our phones?" Jordan said flatly. "Yes," I said. "Tonight. Midnight. Don't look. No matter what. Even if it vibrates. Even if it buzzes 100 times. Don't look." "That's insane," Sarah whispered. "It's the only chance we have," I said. We spent the rest of the day together, huddled in the campus cafe, phones shoved deep in our pockets. The chat stayed silent until noon. Then, as expected, the unknown number posted, "Tomorrow midnight claims Sarah." Sarah whimpered, tears spilling down her cheeks. I held her while she cried, feeling the pit of dread in my stomach gnaw even deeper. Night fell too fast. We didn't go back to the library. We stayed in a corner of the student center, lights blazing, TVs playing old movies overhead, the muffled sound of other students studying and laughing drifting around us. At 11:50 p.m., my phone buzzed. I didn't look. Sarah did. She clamped her hand over her mouth, eyes wide and glistening. 10 minutes, she whispered. "Don't look," I said again. At 11:59, our phones buzzed again. Sarah whimpered, but she didn't open the message. Jordan gripped my shoulder, fingers digging in hard enough to bruise. The buzzing kept going. My phone rattled on the tabletop like something alive, buzzing and buzzing, hundreds of notifications streaming in. Then, silence. We sat there, not breathing. The minute hand on the clock above us ticked past midnight. No one died. Sarah was still there, sobbing into her hands. Jordan was trembling, staring at the floor. I felt a surge of wild hope, so sharp it hurt. "It worked," I whispered. The chat was silent the whole next day. No threats, no cryptic messages, nothing. We met again that night, this time in my dorm room, every light blazing. Sarah kept crying, hugging me, whispering that we were free, that it was over. But at 11:50 p.m., my phone buzzed. I felt the dread return like a lead weight in my stomach. I didn't look, neither did Jordan or Sarah. At 11:59, it buzzed again. "Don't look," I whispered. Sarah squeezed my hand. Jordan was breathing hard, sweat dripping down his face. The buzzing grew louder. Louder. The lights flickered. The floor seemed to vibrate under our feet. I heard something whispering just beneath the hum of the buzzing dozens of voices overlapping, chanting words I couldn't understand. Then everything stopped. Midnight passed. I opened my eyes. We were all still alive. We barely slept that night. When morning came, we checked the chat together, hands shaking. There were no new messages, just silence. It stayed that way the next day, and the next, and the next. A week later, Sarah transferred schools. Jordan moved into an apartment across town, refusing to answer calls or texts for days at a time. I tried to get back to normal, to focus on class, on anything except the memory of that dark, whispering thing behind the glass. But I couldn't shake the feeling that we'd just paused it, not ended it. And then, late one night, my phone buzzed. It was the same unknown number. "You looked away. Now it's your turn." I stared at the message, breath frozen in my chest. Then another buzz. 10 souls gathered. The first will fall at midnight. A list of names followed. Mine was at the bottom. And I realized, with dawning horror, that it wasn't over. It never ended. It just started again. And this time, I was at the top of the feed. The phone buzzed once more, a final message flashing across the screen. "Thank you for watching." And in the reflection of the dark window across the room, I saw something moving, reaching toward me from the glass.